అందరికీ నమస్కారములు. శుభోదయం. గురుభ్యో నమః. శ్రీ మహాగణాధిపతయే నమః. Today is the third and last day of our classes on dance and music, 64 Mahakalas and Natya Sastram from Dr. Sumitra Vellury garu. We have already finished first two classes. Now we are going for the third one, Natya Sastram. So let us welcome her and then start our session by paying respects to our country. Jai Bharat, Bharat Mata ki Jai, Jai Hind, and also recite Vande Mataram. Request Challa Chittibabu garu to recite Vande Mataram, please.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam, Malayajasitalam, Sasya Syamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Subrajosna Pulakitayaminim, Pullakusumita Drumadala Shobhinim, Suhasinim, Sumadhura Bhashinim, Sukhadam Varadam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
వందే మాతరం. ధన్యవాదములండి చల్లా చిట్టిబాబు గారు. Now let us request Govindaraj garu to chant Prarthana, please.
Sarvebhyo Namaskaraha. Let us start with meditation followed by chanting Omkara 3 times. Om. 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 Om Gananam Tva Ganapatidum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashunvannutibhissidasadanam. Om Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha. Om Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajinivati Dhinamavityavatu. Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Gurureva Gati Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave. न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मां पाहि गुरो ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्
హరి ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. ధన్యవాదములండి గోవిందరాజు గారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. నౌ లెట్ us రిక్వెస్ట్ అవర్ గురూజీ సుమిత్రా దేవీజీ, సుమిత్రా వేలూరి గారు టు స్టార్ట్ ద వెబినార్ ప్లీజ్.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. So once again, I would like to thank VSS Veda Samskruti Samiti for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share some of my thoughts about the Natya Shastra with all the enthusiastic young and elderly people here. So today I would like to talk about Natya Shastra, which is an ancient text written by Bharata Muni. It has got almost all 6,000 verses. So it is impossible for anyone to cover 6,000 verses in a given 1 hour. So I would like to choose the important topics, which is called as Natya Sangraha, and I would like to delineate the Natya Sangraha along with the snippets here and there from the Natya Shastra. Right. Coming to the Natya Shastra, it is an encyclopedic work which covers the topics like dance, music, dramaturgy, literature, instrumentation, and the kavya, guna and dosha, and of course the descent of the dance from the above to earth, and several other topics which are related to dance in a very comprehensive way. Since it is this comprehensive, some of the people, the art historians and art aestheticians, they were under the impression that this must have not been written by one single person who is called as Bharata, because the name Bharata was never mentioned in the book, even though the first chapter starts like it is a dialogue between Atreya and other sages and the Bharata Muni. So these historians were under the impression that Bharata has got a meaning like a nata, so an actor. The name of the author could not be Bharata, that is one assumption. And secondly, there might be several Bharatas who have contributed to this encyclopedic work or magnum opus work, I should say. So these are all the different kinds of arguments that we come across when we talk about the authorship of Natya Shastra. When it comes to the period of Natya Shastra, again there is an ambiguity. The so-called historians have recorded the period of Natya Shastra from 2000 BC to 2000 AD. So almost all 400 years of age has been given for this Natya Shastra. Yet we come to know about the Bharata's authorship and the time period a little by going through the commentary written by Abhinav Guptacharya, and he named it as Abhinav Bharati. He has written a beautiful commentary on Natya Shastra, delineating or expanding the karikas and giving the nirukta, the etymological meaning of Natya Shastra, because the entire Natya Shastra was in the form of sutras. So these sutras are in the form of verses again. So for a common man to understand this sutra and applying these sutras to the practical knowledge or practicals, it would have been difficult had Abhinav Gupta not contributed to the Natya Shastra in the form of a commentary. So thanks to Abhinav Gupta for his wonderful commentary. And of course, he has also mentioned about the contemporary aestheticians and their contributions towards understanding the Rasa Siddhanta, and of course other topics that are related to Natya, like it could be Hasta Abhinaya, or it could be about the Dhruva Gana, which we will discuss in course of time, maybe after half an hour or so when we get there. So the Dhruva Gana being the Gana and the music part of it. And of course, when we talk about the Rajashekara or Ramachandra and Hemachandra, those who have contributed towards the technique or the tenets that are to be employed while writing the literature, like what are the gunas of a kavya, what are the doshas of a kavya, how one should start a kavya, what are the meters that one can employ, or what are the things that one has to eliminate, how precisely one should write a sastra or a kavya. So all these things were so beautifully delineated by Hemachandra and Gunachandra, and their contribution towards the Rasa Siddhanta against to Bharata's Rasa Siddhanta. So many things have happened between the 4th and the 11th centuries. So when the compendium of all these Sastras would allow us to understand Bharata's Natya Shastra in a better way. So not just by reading Bharata's Natya Shastra. That is the, what should I say? By reading all these commentaries from the different aestheticians, a reader would be enriched with much more information that is embedded into the Natya Shastra. Now, coming to the Natya Shastra, as I told you, there were several topics included into Natya Shastra. It starts with the Natyotpatti, how the Natya was originated or created. So the stories, the legend starts with, when Atreya and other rishis goes to Bharata and requests him, can you enlighten us with the Natyotpatti story? Who has created it? How has he created it? What was the necessity for the creation of the Natya? Then Brahma, the Bharata starts delineating that in between the Manvantaras, so when people were struggling with several other enemies, like, the Arishad Vargas, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madamatsaryan, when looking at the people, their struggles and everything, Indra has approached Brahma requesting, create an Krida so that people are well versed with such Krida and they can get rid of all these Arishad Vargas and lead a happy life. That was the main motto of creating the dance form. So Indra requests Brahma asking for Kridaniyakam ichchamo drusyam sravyancha yad bhavet. That which is seen, that which is heard. Can you create an art form like that? Then Brahma went into deep meditation and taken some of the elements from the 4 Vedas. From Rig Veda, he has taken text. From Samaveda, the Geetam. From Atharvana Veda, he has taken the Rasas. And from Yajur Veda, he has taken the histrionic expressions. And he has created the Panchama Veda, which we heard the details in yesterday's class. So after creating that, he has invited Bharata and asked him to work upon that and teach that dance to his 100 sons and make a presentation of that. Then after making the first presentation, Brahma has realized that without the involvement of women into the dance form, the presentation by 100 men was not that enthralling. So Brahma has created 24 Apsarasas and gifted to Bharata and asked him to include them into the dance form. And then Bharata started including all these Apsarasas and created Asura Parajaya, the dance drama, and the other one is Tripura Samharam. So like that, after looking at the Tripura Samharam, Shiva realized that the energetic movements were missing in that. Then hence he called Tandu and requested Tandu to teach the Tandava element, the Nritta element. And Bharata was taught Nritta element by Tandu, and he has incorporated the Nritta element into the dance. So the Natya is primarily the drama part enacting the picture. Then the Kaisiki, the Sringara element, the Lasya element was included by the 24 Apsarasas, and the energetic movements were incorporated by the interference of Tandu into the dance format. So we have a complete dance now. Now moving on to the Rasadhyaya, Atreya and other people were asked, they have asked Bharata to explain him the construct of Natya or the structure of the dance form. Then Bharata so beautifully delineated that in a single sloka, he said, Rasabhava abhinayaha dharmi vritti pravurtayaha siddhiswaram tadhatodyam ganam rangascha sangraha. Sangraha is nothing but a concised format, an encapsulated format of dance exists in the 11 angas. They are the rasas, bhavas, abhinaya, rasa, bhava, abhinaya, dharmi, vritti, pravritti, siddhi, swaram, atodyam, ganam, and rangam. These are the 11 important angas that are embedded into the Natya. So I thought if I can cover at least these 11 angas within the given 1 hour slot, it would be nice for you all to have at least an understanding about what is dance and what a dance consists of, right? Just to start with the rasas. What is a rasa, and how do we enjoy that rasa? So in general sense, we call rasam and sambar, right? So rasam is one that one can relish it. So in general meaning, rasam is a liquid form. We call it as a juice. Okay. So how do we enjoy that juice? What are the components of juice? And how many types of rasas are there? Bharata says, we cannot just enjoy the white rice all alone. You need to have some of the taste. You need to have a chutney, which adds some spice to the food. And you need to have some paisam, which adds sweet. And you need to have some bitter gourd in order to add a bitter taste. So we need to have, just like you have 6 tastes, we need to have several other bhavas and emotions and sentiments in order to enjoy the Natya. So by saying so, Bharata says, in order to create the rasa, it is supported by the bhavas. So for understanding rasas, one should have an understanding about bhavas. So what are the bhavas? We all know that bhavas are nothing but the feelings. So what are these feelings? What are the types of feelings that we have? So the single sutra that talks about rasa nishpati, how a rasa is generated, tatra vibhava anubhava vyabhichari bhava samyogat rasa nishpati, says Bharata. Tatra vibhava anubhava vyabhichari bhava samyogat. So you need to blend the vibhava, anubhava, and the vyabhichari bhavas. So for that, we need to understand what is a vibhava. Vibhava in general meaning, it is the determinant. So that determines a rasa. So based on the determines, we will have the anubhavas. They are the consequence of the vibhava. So from that vibhava, we will move on to the consequence, and then we will move on to the vyabhichari bhavas, which will further add to the stimulus, that is the vibhava. So that which determines will be added with the anubhavas, and the vyabhichari bhavas would enhance the mood and the sentiments, finally settling it into the Satvika Bhava, allowing the Manas, the Sattva to generate the appropriate rasa in the minds of the spectator. This is the Rasa Sutra. Okay. To give you a simple example for the students, those who are present here, I've gone to a shop and bought some pesalu, the green gram dal. Okay. So in the shop, they were kept in that gunny bag for several couple of months. And I brought them and I placed them in my tin. Dabba mein rakha hai. So after 1 week, I thought of making something and, I soaked them. I added a little water to that green gram and I let them soak in that water for a couple of hours. I removed the water and I've covered that soaked green gram dal with a muslin cloth, allowing the green gram to have some kind of warmth to it. Okay, so after giving the warmth, and I placed them in the nice airy area. And after 24 hours, I have seen there is a small germination. I saw a sprout. We all eat sprouts for the healthy food, isn't it? And after a couple of days, I've seen a sapling coming out of those green gram. So, and then it turned into a small plant and, finally it went into Phalaprapti and again the green gram was born out of that particular plant. So you have a bija, ankura, sakha and Phalaprapti. So these are the 4 steps. Bija is nothing but when I kept it in the dabba, nothing has happened to that one. So it is in a very dormant state. We call it as a sthayi bhava. Similarly, for us also, the kama, krodha, rati, hasa, soka, utsaha, so-called these navarasas are in a dormant state in us. They are called as sthayi bhava. Ratirhasasya sokasya krodhotsahu bhayantada jigupsa vismayascheti sthayi bhava prakirtitaha. They are in a static mood. Rati is for Sringara, Hasa is for Hasya, Soka is for Karuna, Utsaha is for Veera, Jigupsa is for Bhibatsa, Bhaya is for Bhayanaka. Like that, every feeling, every emotion are there in a dormant state in us. Just like for the stimulus, we have added the water and gave them the warmth of by covering the muslin cloth and giving its beautiful air and everything. It started germinating. Similarly, if I see a snake, the bhaya in me was in a dormant state. By looking at the snake, which is a vibhava, I got frightened and the bhaya got originated in me. So you talk about any rasa. So this is the sutra behind that, right? So vyabhichari bhavas are the fleeting emotions. Like, it could be alasyam, bhayam, like that. There are 33 vyabhichari bhavas. Like, if I see the snake, the first second, I might just have a jerk in my body. But when it slithers, the fear in me, the anxiety in me adds to my fear. The tension, I have to run, but I became immobile. So I have to pull on my energy to run or, to yell for help. So all these are called as vyabhichari bhavas, enhancing the fear in me or whatever the emotion that I'm undergoing, if it is some other situation, if not the bhaya. So these anubhavas are the fear, the surrounding areas or the hissing of a snake. All these are called the added feelings or the sentiments which will further enhance or help the rasa to culminate into the rasa siddhi. So these are the bhavas. So we have a sthayi bhava, which is a dormant bhava, and the vibhava is the stimulus that allows us to react to a situation, and the consequence allow us to think more and more about that particular situation. Vyabhichari bhavas allow us to involve into the thing, and the sattva finally reacts, allowing us to enjoy or relish or feel the rasa nishpatti. So this is the fundamental sutra of it. Moving on to the navarasas, we have Shrungara, Hasya, Karuna, Raudra, Veera, Bhayanaka, Bhibatsadbhuta, Santasya, Navanatya, Rasasmriti. In Natya Shastra, Santa is not delineated by Bharata. Bharata was a Ashtarasavadi. So he says Sringara. Sringara is love in general, the amorous sentiment, as we all know. But according to Bharata, Sringara is derived from the word Sringa. That which is excellent in everything is called as Sringa, Sringara. So when I see a beautiful garden, it's like that. That is also Sringara. If I see a lovely blossoming jasmine flower with aromatic scent spreading all over the garden, and a beautiful honeybees taking the nectar from the flower, the very sight itself is Sringara. It need not be a love between a man and a woman, a male and a female, but Sringara is dominated by a love between a male and a female. So this particular love is divided into again two parts. One is the Sambhoga Sringara, where the union of a male and a female are enumerated or elaborated. Such thing is called as Sambhoga Sringara, and Vipralamba Sringara is love in separation. How is this possible, love in separation? Yeah, when a male and a female were separated, the lovers are separated due to some reasons. One is with the egoistic problems, they are not in a talking terms, yet there is love between them. Right? Because of Irsha, the jealousy, they were not in talking terms. And maybe he's gone out on a tour. So then the separation is possible. And then due to Sapa, like Pandaraju, so they are in separation. And also, when the a male or a female, when they are single, that time also love still continued. That's such love is called as Vipralamba Sringara. And Sambhoga Sringara is love in union, where they enjoy each other's company. Like Annamacharya beautifully describes it. Kongujarina merugu gupalonaya taruni బంగారు మేడపై పవళించెను చెంగలువ కనుగొనల సింగారములు తొలుక అంగజ గురుని తోడ అలసినది గాన Angajaguruni Toda Alasinadi Gana. This is so beautifully described, the Sambhoga Sringara. When it comes to Vipralamba Sringara, Ranguga Nameda Mangala Sutramu Pongu Kati Na Sangati Maracheno. See, he forgot everything and happily he is living there. This is the Vipralamba Sringara, love in separation. Moving on to the Hasirasa, we have hundreds of smiles. Smita, Hasita, Vihasita. Smita is smiling without showing your teeth. Showing your teeth is Hasita. Suswana is Vihasita. Is Atihasita, the Vikatattahasa. Musi Musi Navulu, Chiru Chiru Nagavulu. So you have hundreds of smiles like that. Right? So this Hasya is also again with the buffoonery actions we do it. And Hasa is the Sthai Bhavapada. Moving on to the Karuna Rasa. So Karuna Rasa, again, if you lost wealth, that Karuna is different. If you lost a person, that Karuna is different. So Karuna is, due to several reasons. So for each Karuna, we have to enact in a different way, right? If I lose my, if a woman's husband is lost, that Karuna is something different, where she has to weep, the crying and all. The Rati's Karuna, when Manmadha was burnt into ashes, is, so beautifully showcased in Girija Kalyanam, wherein వీరులన్నిను పూజ చేయగా విధిగా నిన్నొక గేస్తు చేయగా దొరకున్న రసావతారు చిత్సర కంఠన్ పరిమార్తువా ప్రభు కరుణన్ గిరిరాజ కన్యకన్ సతిగాతాము పరిగ్రహ్యూపగా మరుడే this like no body, this Manmada మరుడే పునవర్తిలుగా రతి మాంగళ్యము రక్ష సేయ ప్రభు పతిపేక్ష ప్రభు I leave it to your discretion. Oh Shiva, give him the rebirth on account of your rebirth. So when we involve into the Rati character, the tears will automatically roll down. So involving into the character is another aspect when an artist is enacting the role. It could be a Raudra, it could be a Karuna Rasa, or it could be a Hasya Rasa, right? So involvement into the character is the one what we talk when we talk about the Rasa theory. Sringara Hasya Karuna Raudra. Similarly, Jaya Jaya He Mahishasuramardini Ramyakapatini Sailasute. That involvement should come, pulling out the tongue and, as if you are really killing the demon. The Vyabhichari bhavas that are involved in pulling out the tongue, the anger, the gasping, everything should automatically, these are, we call them as Vyabhichari bhavas. That would add to the bhava, vibhava. So, and the anubhava. And the finally into the Satvika bhava, making the audience to stun. Similarly, when we do the tearing of the Hiranyakashipu's stomach and drinking the ferociousness should come into your eyes when you are enacting the Narasimha Avatara. One should involve into the character. So these are all the Vyabhichari bhavas, the trembling, the shaking, the becoming the stamba, all these movements, they should flow into your body. So moving on to Raudra, Bhayanaka. Bhaya. Like that, since keeping in mind the time, I'm just moving on to the bhavas. So we have completed the bhavas and the rasas, some of the rasas, of course. Rasa bhava, abhinaya. Abhinaya is again the expression. Abhinaya is nothing but bringing forward. The meaning of the word abhinaya is bringing forward. What is that I'm bringing forward? The meaning of the lyrics written by the poet. With the help of the Chaturvida Abhinayas, I am bringing forward it to you and explaining you the meaning of it. So that is called as Abhinaya. So how do I bring forward? With the help of the Angika Abhinaya, with the help of the Angas of the body. So what are the Angas? Anga, Upanga, Pratyanga. So starting from my forehead, eyebrows, eyes, cheeks, chin, teeth, neck, head, hands, kati, padal. So each and every body part and the muscle is involved in bringing in the abhinaya to the audience. Okay, so for each and every movement, of course, there are several movements like, lifting up, seeing down, like that, looking to the sides if it comes to the Drishti Vedas and all like that, the number of Hasta Abhinaya is there. So for each and every Hasta, there are a couple of usages, like, Pataka, Tripataka, Arthapataka, Patakas, Tripatakascha, Tadha, Vaikattari, Mukaha, Artha Chandru, Aradascha, Sukatundastadhaivacha, Mushtischa, Sikarakyascha, Kapit, Takkataka, Mukaha, like that, we have almost some 79 Hastas. So each and every Hasta has got just like our emojis have a meaning in WhatsApp, right? So emojis are derived from our Hastabhnaya only, mind you. So these Hastas have got a specific meaning. This is a language by itself. So with the help of Angikabhnaya, the jumping, the leaping, the bending, moving forward, moving backward, everything we take into account, and this is called as Angabhnaya, Angikabhnaya. So next one is Vachikabhnaya. Vachikabhnaya is nothing but expression through speech, expression through songs, and and the literature. So this expression, it can be through a dialogue version. Okay. So for a Hasya Rasa, the dialogue is నా పేరేమిటో తెలుసా, నా పేరు నీలవేణి. నీలవేణి అంటే ఏంటనుకున్నా, నా కురులు చాలా బారు, అందుకే పెట్టారు. ఎంత బారో తెలుసా, మొదలు కత్తిరిస్తే శీలమండలి వరకు పడతాయి, అందుకే నా పేరు నీలవేణి అని పెట్టారు. సో దిస్ is a Vachikabhnaya, but this is a general Vachikabhnaya, but we have 12 such Vachikabhnayas: Alapa, Vilapa, Prelapa, Atilapa, Sanlapa, Narmagarbha, Narmaspunja. So concealing one thing and talking something else. Akasa Bhashanam, talking to a person who is in a distance, whispering into the ears of somebody else. So like this, we have several, and based on the rasa also. If it is a Veera Rasa, then the dialogue mode would change. If it is a Raudra Rasa, then the dialogue version will be changed. If it is a Karuna Rasa, then the dialogue would be changed. Okay. So whatever the emotions or feelings that the character is undergoing, accordingly, the voice modulation, the intonation has to be adopted by the artist. So that we call it as Vachikabhnaya. Okay. I'm just thinking of. And we have Padyams, we have Gadyams, we have prose, we have Lekha. Shrimat Ratnakara Putrika Mukharavind Vilisita Milindayamana Nandanandana Muchukunda Varada Mandarothara Parihasita Raka Sudhakara Sundara Vadanara Vindundagu Rajagopala Swami Vari Charanarabindambulaku Satyabhama Nitala Tatakatita Karakamalai. Like this goes on, this goes on. So depending upon the type of literature that we are making use, the voice modulation has to be adopted. So when it is Gadgadikam is one of the Swarabhanga and Gadgadikam, okay, you heard me Gadgadikam in Girja Kalyanam's Padyam just before, right? Okay. So that is about Vachikabhnaya. Then Aharyabhnaya, just like I yesterday delineated about the different kinds of the Aharyam, the ornaments that we wear from top to the toe, that is called as Aharyam. And Aharyam again, the stage properties, whatever that we make use of the stage decoration, everything, that is called as Pustamu. Sanjeevamu or Sajjeevamu is the one. With the masks, we allow some of the animals, depending upon the storyline, we allow, like if it is a Srinivasa Kalyanam, so then we would bring on a cow and a calf onto the stage. Okay, for the Padmavati scene and all, the cow and calf, and the elephant. When Srinivasa was trying to protect the Padmavati, an elephant has to come onto the stage. We can't bring a live animal onto the stage. So we would wear a mask and the dancer would enter onto the stage. Such prakriya is called as Sanjeevamu or Sajjeevamu. So that is also part of Aharyapnaya. And Alankaramu and Angarachana. Yesterday also we discussed about the different kinds of makeup, the primary colors, the secondary colors, right? So this is about the Aharyapnaya. And Satvika Abhinaya is the innate feelings that we have if we express such. They are like Stambasvedo the Romancha, Swarabhango the Vepaduhu, Vaivarnyamasru Pradayancha, Ityashta Satvika Smruta. Stambam is stunned like a pillar, immobile, becoming immobile is Stamba. Shveda is perspiration on looking something or and found guilty, we will sweat a lot. Romancha is harpilish, the Romancha. Swarabhanga is a change in the tone, a shaky tone, a trembling tone. When I talk about the demise of my father, recently happened. నాన్న రాత్రి ఇడ్లీ తిన్నారండి, మంచినీళ్ళు తాగారు, టీవీలో న్యూస్ చూసారండి, పడుకున్నారు, అంతే, ఇంక పొద్దు లేవలేదండి. That the demise of my father triggers as it, when it triggers, there is a swarabhanga. There is a change in my tone altogether. So when I feel the absence of my father, automatically, that is the reason it is categorized under the sattva. You must feel it. The innate feeling, Vepadu is trembling. Vaivarnyam is colorless or changing colors in your skin. And Asru is tears. So depending upon each and every sentiment that is portrayed on the stage, the audience would get connected to that one, and accordingly their sattva is connected to the sattva of the character that is being portrayed, and they will also react in the similar way. After all, in movies we must have experienced, we must have cried several times, isn't it? That is nothing but connecting with the character. We all know it is a celluloid thing, they have enacted it, and then after the movie nothing is going to happen, but still we feel it. That is called as Sattvika Bhava, right? So after the Abhinaya, like Angika Abhinaya, Vachika Abhinaya, verbal expression, Aharya Abhinaya, and the Sattvika Abhinaya, Dharmi, we will move on to Dharmi, which talks about the style of presentation. So style of presentation, we have two categories, Natya Dharmi and Loka Dharmi. Loka Dharmi is nothing but enacting in a natural way. Like if I have to, wipe my tears, this is how I wipe. If I conventionalize this movement into the Natya Dharmi, I would do this way. My tears are rolling down and I will wipe like this. So I add a little body movement here. Do we ever do that in normal way? No, she's crying. We will do like this. She's crying, but we will not do. They are dropping, isn't it? So dramatizing the entire thing is called as Natya Dharmi, and just doing it in a normal way is Loka Dharmi. And another thing, for Natya Dharmi, that which cannot be presented on the stage or explained on the stage with the help of Loka Dharmi, then we would like to adopt. Like, if I have to say Ayodhya, then I would pose a thing and I will show this is the Ayodhya, this is the Ayodhya, this is the Swargaloka, these are the Devatas. For that, I adopt the technique of Natya Dharmi to convey the message to the audience, right? So this is about the Natya Dharmi and Loka Dharmi. Dharmi Vritti. Then it comes to the Vrittis, the mode of presentation, wherein we have four varieties: Kaisiki, Bharati, Arabhati, and Satvati again. Kaisiki Vritti is basically the Sringara Pradhana. The legend says that the Kaisiki was originated from the Keshas of Lord Mahavishnu. Hence, it is called as Kaisiki Vritti. When Lord Vishnu was fighting with the Madhu and Kaitapa, the Shringara, this with a graceful movement, he just pushed back his hair. So from that, this Kaisiki has originated, and we call it as a Shringara based. And Satvati is, he was just patiently listening to Madhu and Kaitapa when they were yelling at him and calling him, and they were using all abusive words towards Vishnu so that he would come and fight with them. So when he was patiently listening to them, that Satvika Bhava, from that of Satvika Bhava, the Satvati Vritti was originated. Then Bharati Vritti, he had a dialogue with Madhu and Kaitapa. Why would you like to fight with me? Better you take care of yourself. Then, then the dialogue, whatever Vishnu had with Madhu and Kaitapa, from that, the Bharati Vritti was originated. Okay. And then moving on to the Arabhati Vritti, when Vishnu and Madhu and Kaitapa fought with each other, the fist fighting, the Mushtighatas and everything, and with the sword fighting and with the arrows and everything, so that the different kinds of yuddha, samfeta. Arabhati is nothing but the Arbhatam that was enacted. From that, the Arabhati Vritti was originated. Vritti, Dharmi Vritti. Pravritti is nothing but the next anga in the 11 angas. Pravritti is nothing but the regional differences that we talk in enacting the different kinds of movements. What are the different regional things? Like, Bharata has classified the entire India into the 5 categories. Okay. Avanti, Dakshinatya, Panchala, Madhyama, and Odramagadi. Madhyama is the central part, and think that, east, west, north, and south for a better understanding. Odramagadi is the Odisha area. Avanti and Dakshinatya is the southern part. Like that. East, west, north, and south. Madhyama is the central part of the India. So each region has got each tradition and practices. So keeping in view the regional practices, one would adopt the technique. That is the reason we have so many dance forms, even though the 9 classical dance forms were following Bharata's Natya Shastra itself, still there is a presentational differences. To give you a simple example, in the southern part, if we are enacting a marriage being performed, then I would rather prefer to go for the Jilakarra Bellam. I would place on the Varudu head, and I would keep it like this, that the other hand is on my head. The male and female exchanged the Jilakarra and Bellam, which we follow on the Muhurta. But if a North Indian people have to do the choreography for performing this marriage, they would go for the Saptapadi, placing the pinky finger, the little fingers in this way, and they would go around the Saptapadi to the sacrificial fire, around the sacrificial fire. For them, Saptapadi is the important thing in the marriage. So like this, all the regional practices should be embedded into the dance form. So such practice is called as pravritti. So Siddhi is the next in the order. We call it as Manushi Siddhi and the Daiviki Siddhi. See, Manushi Siddhi is the actor practices well, and the orchestra people and everything. She made all the arrangements. She has booked the theater. Everything was so perfect for a performance. She has rehearsed hundreds of times. Everything was set, and she was about to dance. Suddenly, something has happened. She performed so well. So that is called as a Manushi Siddhi. Like putting in all the efforts, making the program a grand success is called as a Manushi Siddhi. Daiviki Siddhi is how much our efforts we put in, there should be the grace of the Almighty also. Otherwise, we cannot success in any of the endeavors that we take up. So after doing so much of arrangements, what if power goes and there is no generator? That is called as Daiviki Siddhi. What if some elephant enters into the theater? What if a snake enters into the theater? What if some criminal enters into the theater and, say, yelling at somebody? Everybody will run away from that place. And to whom will you perform? So the Daiviki Siddhi is the utmost one. One should really pray for the blessings of the God. That is the reason in the Rangam, in the theater, we would do all the preliminaries that are to be presented or performed for the success of a program, invoking the Ashtadikpalakas and erecting them in the, placing them in the 8 directions of the Rangabhumi, where exactly we perform. And in the center, we also invoke and we establish the Brahma, and we do the Pushpanjali first. We will do the prayer, seeking their blessings and requesting them to protect us throughout the program and see that our performance is a grand successful one. So Ranga Puja, Rangadevata Pujanam is as important as the regular performance also. So moving on to so we have covered Rasa, Bhava, Abhinaya, Dharmi, Vritti, Pravritti, Siddhi. Now the Swaram. Swaram, yeah, this is about the Sangeetam. From past 2 days we have been talking about the Sapta Swaras, like, the Gandharva Ganam. And Sarigama Padani Sa Sani Dapa Magarisa, all the Sapta Swaras, to which rasa, which note is amicable, which raga is amicable, which raga should be employed. Is it Sivaranjani? Is it Bhupala? Is it Kedar Gaula? Is it Mohana? So we need to think about the proper application of a beautiful raga and tala. That is nothing but the musical accomplishment that we call it as Siddhiswaram. Next is Atodhyam. Atodhyam is again instrumental music, as we have been discussing Tatanchaiva Avanathancha Ghanam Sushiramevacha. The 4 kinds of instruments that are essential for a proper singing. Of course, now we are adding so many other electronic gadgets also for a contemporary music, right? So we have string instruments, percussion instruments, wind instruments, and the metallic instruments properly used for rhythm and the shruti, the pitch and the frequency purposes. Then comes the Ganam. After Atodhyam, the Ganam comes. So what is the difference between a Geetam and a Ganam? Geetam is about the songs and everything, but the Ganam is the employment of the songs. So this is a very, very crucial part of any performance, wherein Bharata has delineated in his Natya Shastra 5 types of Gana: Pravesaki, Akshepaki, Prasadaki, Antara, and Naishkramiki. These are the 5 types of the Gana. So Pravesaki is when a character enters onto the stage, we sing entirely a different song. We call them as a Pravesaki Daru. Mahishasudanu Danuja Kulendrudu Dhanata Toda Tanadu Sabakuvachenu. Mahishasudanu Danuja Kulendrudu Dhanata Toda Tanadu Sabakuvachenu. This is the pravesha of Mahishasura. Similarly, if it is a Lasya Puraka, Vedale Giriraja Putri Putri. This is the entry of a Girija Kanya. So for any entry, for any character's entry, we make use of the Pravesiki Daru, Gana. And Prasadaki is when the king is sitting in the Prasada, addressing him, we would sing the Prasadaki Gana. Okay, so the Prasadaki Gana, Nindu Koluvai Unnadu, Nikhila Kirti Gannadu, నందిత జనగాత్రుడే. I forgot the song, sorry. So, నిండు కొలువై ఉన్నాడు. Similarly for Shahaji also, కొలువై ఉన్నాడే దేవదేవుడు కొలువై ఉన్నాడే కొలువై ఉన్నాడు కోటి సూర్య ప్రకాశుడు వరరాజు పగవాడు వనిత మోహనాంగుడు వలరాజు పగవాడు వనిత మోహనాంగుడు కొలువై ఉన్నాడు కొలువై ఉన్నాడే. So he has been seated on his throne. This is about Lord Shiva, right? So the Antaragana is in between two episodes. If there is so like from Karuna Rasa, if one has to move on to some other rasa, we need an interjunction, right? Just like parts of speech, we need to have an interjunction in order to shift the mood or change the rasa. That time we would like to have another song that is called as Antaragana. So Antara is from Girija Kalyanam. ఎందుకు ఓంకరింత కాని పని మదన అది నీ చేత కాని పని మదన అది నీ చేత అహంకరింతువ హరుని జయింతువ అహంకరింతువ హరుని జయింతువ అది నీ చేత కాని పని మదన కాని పని మదన. So this is an interjunction daru where we have employed in between the Karuna Rasa and the Raudra Rasa. So there the Karuna Rasa is like the Pravesaki Akshepaki Gana. So Akshepaki and Antarbhava is, to depict the inner feeling of the Parvati, we would employ the Akshepaki Gana addressing to the Shiva. Like, I've been serving Shiva all these years, all these days, but he never paid attention to my services, nor even he opened his eye and, he looked at me. What am I doing here? What am I supposed to do now? Let him say something. Is he going to really marry me or not? So that I would go back to my Daksha Prajapati, my father. But he is like a sthanu, not even revealing anything. How do I understand him? దినంబులాయే ఇటకు నేను సపర్యలు చేయవచ్చి ఇన్ని దినంబులాయే ఇటకు నేను సపర్యలు చేయవచ్చి ఈ పన్నగ భూషణుడు తన భావమున దలి ఊహ తెల్పడే ఈ పన్నగ భూషణుడు తన భావమున దలి ఊహ తెల్పడే మిన్నకయున్నవాడు మిన్నకయున్నవాడు అట్లు గాకున్నను మానే అట్లు గాకున్నను మానే కడకు తన దాసిగనైనా చూడనేతునా This is the Antarabhava of Girija, but she never expressed it outward. So this is the Antarabhava. So this we call it as Antaradaru, Bhavadaru. Right? So the Naishkramiki Daru is when a character exits the stage, we call it as a Naishkramiki Daru. When Banasura was bestowed by the Shiva, that he will be guarding his own palace and everything, he'll be taking care of his kingdom. Then Banasura went on, for a Trilokya Yuddham, and he wanted to win over the Trilokas. Vedalanasura Jaladi Somudu, Dikpatula Geluva, Vedalanasura Jaladi Somudu, Tattakita Takita, Vedalanasura, ha, Vedalanasura, ay, Vedalanasura Jaladi Somudu, Dikpatula Geluva, Dikpatula Geluva, Dikpatula Geluva, yay, Vedalanasura Jaladi Somudu. Sorry. So like this, the Naishkramiki Darbu, if it is for a demon character, we would do that. So similarly for a Lasya, for a female character also, we do with the Lasya and we do this thing. This is about the Gana. And the final one out of the 11 Rangas, 11 Angas of Natya Shastra is Rangam. Rangam is nothing but a theater. So theater. According to Bharata in Natya Shastra, the entire theaters were divided into 3 categories depending upon the shape and the size. So according to the shape, he called them as Chaturasra, that is in a square shape. Chaturasra, Trasya. Trasya is a triangular one, and the Dirgha Chaturasra. Dirgha Chaturasra is nothing but an oblong or the rectangle one. So we have square, rectangle, and a triangular one. So depending upon the size of it, we have Jeshta, Avara, and the Kanishta. Jeshta being the largest, Avara being the middle one, and the Kanishta is the lowest. So in those days, what was the scale they used? They used danda. This is the measurement that they used. For flowers, we make use of the Mura. No? This is called as danda. So 108 dandas is the Jeshta, and 64 dandas is Avara, 58 dandas is the Kanishta. So these are the measurements taken, length and the width, so that they paid much attention on the acoustics also, and they can hear each and every individual can clear so precisely the dialogue or the song or the music that's being played in the theater while the performance is going on. So many things were taken care of, and they were also talking about the kind of pillars to support the entire structure, and the scaffolding that protects the building structure, and the windows properly placed to both the sides, allowing the cross ventilation. Imagine the kind of architecture that was put into the construction of a proper theater, right from digging the soil to the consecration of the proper deities into the theater. So much of details were given in Natya Shastra. It is not that easy to cover the entire Natya Shastra in given 1 hour of time. Then we have the other things like, the Kavya Gunadosha, as I told you, how what are all the characters that are involved in a Rupaka. So we have a Sutradhara. Who is a Sutradhara? The director of the entire drama is called a Sutradhara. One who is well versed with the music, dance, dramaturgy, and one who is spontaneously cover if there is any mistake has happened in the while the performance is going on. He can cut short it. The Vachanam of the Sutradhara is also so beautifully listed by Bharata, saying that he has to say it precisely, avoid all unnecessary words. Okay, the meaning should be conveyed directly. No indirect words are allowed in the Sutradhara's Vachanam, like that. And what are all the other characters that are involved in and Ashtavida Nayaka Avasthas and Dasa Kamopacharas, Lasyangas, and he also dealt with the Chandas, the meter, the prosody, starting from Ekakshara to 26 Aksharas, what we have today. And generally, we all are aware with the Gayatri and the Anushtup Chandas only. But there are several other Chandas, like, counting in fives is 1 meter, counting in fours is 1 meter, counting in three is 1 meter, like takkita, 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 that is Tisram. For normally we go in Anushtup only. And for stotras and all, we go for Pancha, the Khandajati rendition, 5 letters. Like that, the employment of jatis, the talas, was also beautifully explained by Bharata in his Natya Shastra. And finally, the story says that, all this has happened in the heaven. So when Bharataputras was bestowed with all this knowledge, and they were presenting here and there, and people were praising them like anything. So they were so happy, and suddenly they become egoistic, and they started behaving so arrogantly, and they were not responding to the gods also properly. And then they were cursed by Brahma, saying that you will descend to earth and you will live there only and propagating the art form. That's how we, the human beings, were bestowed with the Bharataputras descending down somewhere near the Kashmir or Himalayas, and the art form got spread. And this is the legend that we hear from Natya Shastra. Of course, when we talk in a scientifically and research-oriented, anthropologically, when we talk about the entire human evolution, the society, formation of the society from that of an individual, and for an entertainment, how people gathered and singing and dancing and clapping together. And that's how, when you talk about anthropologically, the evolution of the entire mankind and the civilization and everything, we will have a totally different kind of understanding. But yet, the divine origin of Natya has been explained in Natya Shastra, in which we believe in. So, the Angika, Vachika, Aharya, and Satvika Abhnayas are originated from the Lord Shiva. Hence, we, the dancers, always salute Lord Shiva, calling him Nataraja. Ahangikam bhuvanam yasya vachakam sarvavamayam aharyam chandra taradhi tam vande satvigam shivam, whose body is nothing but the entire bhuvanam, whose speech is nothing but the entire literature, whose sattvam, whose aharyam, whose ornaments are nothing but all these celestial things, planetary things that we see. To that sattva, Satchidananda, Satchit Ananda Swarupa, that Nataraja, I offer my salutations. And with these salutations, I conclude my today's talk on Natya Shastra. Sorry for leaving so many things behind, because it's not possible for me to conclude this within 1 hour. Just a minute, sir. See,
Yeah.
charging అయిపోయింది. I thought I kept it in charging. Charge is over almost.
Okay.
Computer will shut down. That's the reason I ran. And sorry for that. Thank you so much, Veda Samskruti Samiti, for giving me this great opportunity to share snippets of Natya Shastra to all the youngsters, those who are enthusiastic to know about our rich Indian culture and heritage. And thank you all, sir. Namaste.
Okay, now the session is open for question and answers. Please raise your hand and then ask the question or post your question in the chat box. Okay, the first question in the chat box. It's all praise about. The first question is whether mime is the form of dance form or Western dance form. Is our dance form or Western dance form?
So we have mime, Mukhabhinayam, we have Mukhabhinayam, but generally we wish to go with all the Chaturvida Abhinayas. Vachikabhinayam is a must, but Mukhabhinayam is also there, very rarely presented.
Okay.
Mukhabhinayam is our zone.
Okay, thank you. My personal question is that though Brahma, he has created this Natya Shastra, but then when it comes to initial Pradhana, we give all credence prayers to Nataraja. Is Brahma also there, part of the initial Pradhana?
Yes, sir. Pranamya Sirasa Devo Pitamaha Maheshwaru Natyashastram Pravakshyami Brahmana Yadudakrutam. Brahmana Yadudakrutam. Brahma is the one that created the dance form. So that I have learned from Brahma, so I am delineating it. So he offered his prayers to Maheshwara, then to Brahma, the creator of the dance.
Okay, thank you very much. Ravindra garu?
Makeup man is also a part of art. It may be dance or drama or whatever it may be. These are also the are given under this characters of Natyam.
He is not a character in the
Not a character.
drama.
It's a
But he is a
forcing
part
person.
of.
He's a
he's
forcing person. Yes.
Sir?
So in dressing person to the artist.
He's a part of the troupe.
Part of the trope is a troupe. But in this,
But he will not be seen on the stage, actually.
is a background.
Nepatya. So Nepatya, Naipatya, there are so many people, no? So
Actually, no words.
only the characters will be presented on the stage, but rest of the people behind the screen, there are so many people who are working towards the success of the performance. So Nepatya Kara.
No words to speak about this one. We are highly excited. We are highly enlightened for the past 3 days. We're thankful to you and thankful to all VSS organization to giving this a beautiful lecture. Thanks one and all.
Okay, Kaipa Rameshwara garu?
ఈ పూర్వపు రోజుల్లో ఈ ఏకపాత్రాభినయాలు చేసేవాళ్ళు డ్రామాల్లో. కైండ్లీ ఇన్ ఓల్డెన్ డేస్ డ్యూరింగ్ దిస్ festivals or rathosavams, they used to play dramas in the nights, Krishnaraya Mahesava, like that. They used to have 4 Krishnas, 2 Duryodanas, like that. And these soliloquies were there. That is Ekapatrabhinayam. Does it also come under Natya Shastra?
Yes, sir. In Natya Shastra, Bharata has listed out Dasarupakams. So he called it as a Rupakam. So in the Dasarupakam, so depending upon the number of heroes and the number of heroines and the time of the Itivrutta happening, and based on the Itivrutta, and so he has taken several other aspects into consideration, and he has divided the Rupaka into 10 molds. So they calling them as Dasarupakas. So Natakamu, Praharanamu, Ihamrugamu, Banamu, Vidhi, Dimamu, Samavakaramu. So these are some of the types of Rupakas. So Vidhi and Banamu comes under Ekapatraharya Kelikas, wherein a single actor would come out to the dais and enact. So again in Vidhi, we have 13 varieties. One is like a mime, one is like, the humorous one. One is about talking about their own agony. Like that, each Itivrutta would differ from one another and calling it by a different name. So Vidhi comes under the solo performance only, Ekapatra Kelika. And Banamu is again also Ekapatra Kelika, and sometimes 3 people will be Trikam, we call it as Trikam. So 3 people will be performing, wherein just like in Burrakada, the main principal presenter and the 2 supporting characters will be there, just like in Burrakada. So these 2 will be adding or questioning the main narrator, and he will be delineating the story. Like in Lava Kusa, we see Lava and Kusa singing on the stage, people questioning and they answering like that. So, Emaindaya ante, and he would start singing. So, that is one of the prayoga. We call it as Banamu. If it is a single man's thing, we call it as a Vidhi.
Ma'am, in our childhood, we used to see in the drama, in the beginning of the drama, after this prarthana, one person used to come onto the stage and say about the connotation of the drama that they have to enact in the afterwards.
Yes,
That
yes,
name, what he is called, ma'am?
And that is called as Nandi and Prastavana.
And that person's name is there, ma'am. I have
Sutradhara.
forgotten. Sutradhara. He is director.
Sutradhara is the person. He would come and give the gist of the play that they are going to enact. So, for example, in Girja Kalyanam, he would come and say that Avadharincharaya Vidyalanadharincharaya Lalita Kalala Viluva Teliyu Sarasulu Padimpadiga Paravasulai Avadharincharaya Vidyalanadharincharaya. This is an appeal to the audience. So here Parvati went to Shiva. Tatthittum takadinetum Himagiri tanaya tanala. So that's how the story proceeds. He would sing into the same song and explains the song. Kanyatanamu dhanyamaina gadha avadharinchariya. How Parvati's Kanyatvam became a dhanyatva by marrying the Shiva. Kanakanalade tamasana kamuni rupam bapi akopi tanalalanu parinayamadina kadambamu. So eventually the Manmada came and Shiva burnt Manmada into ashes, and finally Tanalalalanu parinayamadina kadambam. So he married to Shiva. The entire gist is encapsulated into a single song wherein Sutradhara narrates the story, and people will enjoy the performance later on. So that is called as Nandi and Prastavana. And in Karnataka Yakshagana, this is called as Yakshagana Prasanga. They would narrate this in the Prasanga format also. There are different techniques to narrate the story, whether it is a Padya, Gadya, prose, something like that. Any format that they are familiar with, or each time they may adopt each technique also.
In my boyhood days, I used to see these Surabhi dance troops presentations. They used to come to the towns and present, and they used to different methods. Even actual, I saw that Lanka Dahanam. Even actually, Hanuman practically burns the stage. They used to
that
present
is called
very.
as Sajjivamu, sir. That's what I told you. The Pustamu and Sajjivamu from Aharya Agneya. Pustamu is the stage properties that, so sometimes, we see a white cloth is spread like this, like a Himalaya Parvatalu, or, backdrop curtains were used when probably some 30-35 years back. If they go into the garden area or a forest area, they used to pull the curtain where there were so many trees were drawn. And if the Surabhi drama people, they have introduced so many things. And Sajjivama is the one, as I explained, the cow, the elephant, the deer, whatever that animal and the birds we talk about, we bring them with the jiva onto the stage. Hence, it is called
usage of masks, sir.
Masks, yeah.
Dhanyavadamma, namaskaram. I am highly enlightened.
You see, Surabhi people,
Okay, just a minute. Raise the hand and then say that Amar Singh ji wants to say something. Yeah, Amar Singh ji.
Shubhodaya Mataji. I have one doubt, like purpose of dance. Like we say it is in tradition, we say that it's being followed from so much long time. So what it will be beneficial for a like a young person? Like it's only an what you call some hobby kind of thing, or people enjoys it. Just I need to know some purpose, like how it can help us.
Who's dancer? I didn't get it.
I mean to say a person who dances is dancing because of some purpose, and that purpose I want to like it's a tradition going on from long time. Correct. So
So,
just I want to know for a simple person how a dance can help.
so the purpose of a dance is again depends on the samskara of the individual, I must say. So, is it for his own entertainment, or would he like to entertain others, or is it for recognition in the society, or does he want to make money out of it, or is it for his spiritual upliftment? Like in Maslow's theory, we have different grades, like, so similarly,
Hierarchy theory.
so
Yeah.
yeah, it all depends on the individual samskara. To what extent are we extending our dance? So if you ask me, Devadasis have performed as an offering to the Lord. Gemini Mahabharatam, Gemini says, Nrityatam gayatam chaiva nanavadya prakurvatam yatha santushato kesavo vairiti vividham smrutam. Kesava is much more pleased when you sing and dance along with the instrumentation than any other type of archan offering that you offer to him. So with that feeling, if we dance, that's an offering. So somebody dances for joy. That joy is, to unite with the universal energy. When I dance, when I see, when I enact Krishna, I see Krishna in front of me, not an exaggeration. Not an exaggeration at all. When I did that Rati portion, I saw Manmada and I saw Shiva in front of me. That's the reason I could cry. It's not that easy to get tears as and when you want them to happen. That involvement happens only when you aim at the spiritual bliss, if it is your aim.
Okay.
I want to unite with the God. When I dance about Lord Krishna, I see Krishna. He's in front of me. I imbibe Krishna. I turn myself into Krishna when I do the romance with Satyabhama. Otherwise, that thing will not come into my body. Mechanically, I can do like this. But how do I get that prema? How do I get that bashfulness? That is nothing but spirituality. It is not like spirituality is not like, chanting Veda and, immersing into that, or doing a ritualistic kind of thing. No. Being spiritual itself is involving myself into the character, being in the present. If I do Gandhari, I become Gandhari. If I do Jhansi Lakshmi, I become Jhansi Lakshmi. Irrespective of the bhava and rasa that are being portrayed, I have to imbibe those qualities and characteristics into me. That's being spiritual. I have to invoke that spirit in me. So it all depends on the individual's.
Yeah, the question, because tomorrow is the Mohini Ekadashi, so like we have seen in the history, the Mohini has taken the Amrit from the Rakshasas and will give it to Devatas. So, ధన్యవాదం. శుభదినస్తి.
ఓకే, రామేశ్వరరావు గారు, కైప రామేశ్వరరావు గారు.
అమ్మా, నాకు చిన్న అనుమానం ఉంది. 12వ శతాబ్దంలో జయదేవుని అష్టపదులు ఈ నాట్యశాస్త్రాన్ని
క్వశ్చన్ ఇన్ ఇంగ్లీష్ ప్లీజ్.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, this Jayadeva's Ashtapadis wrote in 12th century in Sanskrit. Are they according to the Natya Shastra, ma'am, or according to this thing only? Because many dancers enact this Dasavatarams and Chandana Charchita in the form of dance. It has been written keeping Natya Shastra in view, ma'am?
No, that is a Madhura Kavita, sir. That falls
Ah.
under the Kavitvam. But, you know, in the initial lecture, I told you, Natat Sastram, Natat Silpam. The dance is all pervasive. So we can dance to anything that you give, be it Ashtabadi or Kshetra Padam or anything that you give, we can enact the movements, taking some space into that and we can enact it. So whether Jaydeva has written or not, the legend says that his concert Padmavati is a dancer, and by looking at Padmavati's dancer, he got some inspiration and he wrote that Ashtapadis. But that particular Prabandha, Gita Govinda Kavya or Prabandha, it falls under the Madhura Bhakti concept. Madhura Bhakti concept is Jayadeva himself is a Prakriti and Krishna was the Purusha. So with that understanding, he has written that. And with the Bhakti movement led by Chaitanya Prabhu, slowly all the literature has entered into the Manipuri, Odissi, Kuchipudi, Bharatanatyam, all the dances. Loving the
Thank you,
Madhura Bhakti concept.
Namaskaram.
Okay.
Namaste, sir.
There is a question in the chat box. It is said that Krishna, Balarama, Rama knew 64 arts. What about Arjuna? How many arts did he know?
Arjuna, I would say majority of them, because during the exile from as a Bruhanala, he showcased the music and dance, and of course the Atodhya. And he's a great warrior, no doubt about it. So maybe couple others. I think I need to study it and get back. I'm not sure, pretty sure, but he's well versed in many arts. That much I can tell.
Okay, I think we have come to the end of the question and answer session, and we are about to start Pradhana, and then we will. Over to you, Babu Garu.
Okay. Govindaraj Garu, please.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधनाः सधनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतं सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान् मा प्रमदः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु स्वस्ति
सर्वे जना सुखिनो भवन्तु स्वस्ति. ధన్యవాదములండి గోవిందరాజు గారు. Thank you so much. Now let's go for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद जय हिंद.
ధన్యవాదములండి
Thank you so much.
చిట్టిబాబు గారు. Thank you so much. Anybody, any other questions you may inquire?
Just a minute. Okay, nothing, no more questions. Manisha Joshil garu. Last question. Hurry up.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste.
Manisha here. Ma'am, just a small query. I know this Jayadevuni Ashtapadi, I think in Kathak, Odishi, and then Bharatanatyam, in all these dances, it is being performed for the same song actually. Bhama Kalapam is only exclusively for Kuchipudi. Like that, any song is exclusively only for Bharatanatyam? Is it possible like that?
Koravanji is been performed only exclusively for Bharatanatyam.
Please repeat, ma'am. Which one is that?
Koravanji.
Koravanji. Oh.
That is for Bharatanatyam, and Bhamakalapam is being presented even in Assamese Ankiniyata.
Very great presentation.
Bhamakalapam is also presented in Karnataka Yakshagana style, Parijata Paranam.
Some combination. Thank you so much, ma'am. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Mahadaya, one question.
Yeah.
Regarding this Harikatha and Burrakatha, they come into which category?
They comes under indigenous dance forms, sir.
Indigenous dance forms. Others are not indigenous.
No, as I told you, indigenous is pertaining to one particular nativity, no?
Okay.
So Harikatha and Burrakatha we don't find in other places. So that's the reason it falls under the indigenous art form.
This Perni Tandavam in Nizamabad district.
Not Nizamabad, it is in Telangana region.
Telangana region.
Telangana and Telugu, Andhra region also.
Oggu Katha.
Oggu Katha is exclusively for Telangana.
Telangana. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now I'll stop the recording.
Yeah. I think we'll have to thank Sumitra garu for the excellent 3 days lecture.
Thank you, sir.
And it was not a lecture, it is taking us to a different world, know about this entire new aspect of the Sanatana Dharma. And linking Sanatana Dharma to this Natya Shastra and all, we never knew that there was a link. Of course, but for the entire things comes from the ancient times, but the science and all these things, aspects was very nicely presented. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, sir.
We hope we'll have such sessions more in the courses to come. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much on behalf of Veda Samskruti Samiti. You are also part of Veda Samskruti Samiti.
Yes, sir.
But nevertheless, on behalf of all students of this course, we thank you for the excellent session. The third session also is very, very interesting.
Thank you, sir.
Lot of performance.
If you want to leave,
recording.
if you want to leave, madam, you can leave if you are in urgency.